This is a film that takes secret love to the absolute extreme, and at the same time proves that pure friendship between a man and a woman simply does not exist. If you carry love in your heart but never speak it out loud, what you miss may be far more than just 15 years. Late at night on July 15, 1988, Dexter and Emma, who had just graduated from college, took off their coats and held each other in bed, but strangely enough, until dawn, nothing happened between them except sharing stories. They traveled together during holidays, swam together in the scorching summer heat, and held each other when one of them was hurt. To outsiders, they looked like soulmates, yet they made the foolish promise to remain best friends for a lifetime, and to meet only on July 15th each year. In 1989, it was the first time they honored that promise after graduation. Emma, who dreamed of becoming a writer, went alone to Paris, preparing to start her journey from a tiny rented apartment, fantasizing about a beautiful future like every young person who has yet to face the real world.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that this time next year, you're going to take London by storm.
Of course.
Unfortunately, life quickly struck Emma with a harsh blow. Before gaining any recognition, her manuscripts brought in no income at all. To cover her daily expenses, Emma could only work at a small restaurant, spending her days between middle-aged men and a greasy kitchen, and sometimes enduring the harassment of irritating customers. Her passion was being worn down little by reality, and she could only call Dexter to seek comfort.
London swallowed me up.
But often, after just a few sentences, Emma's call would be cut off due to insufficient credit, and in the end she could only quietly add one last sentence: Dexter's life,
I miss you.
on the other hand, was completely different. His handsome appearance allowed everything to go smoothly for him, with women approaching him every day, surrounding him constantly, and he even earned a training opportunity to become a television host. With the indulgence of his parents added to that, his life was carefree and comfortable. Even during their once-a-year meeting, he could charm a woman he had just met right in front of Emma.
You were trying to fit her entire head in your mouth.
Emma felt a trace of jealousy, but because of their friendship, she could not say anything, and could only stand aside making sarcastic remarks. After a year of hard work, her dream of becoming a writer showed no progress, and instead she was promoted to restaurant manager, her curly hair filled with the smell of cheese and cheap alcohol. Dexter naturally understood Emma's grievances, and he believed that she was not lacking in talent, but simply short of confidence when facing the trivialities of life. So he suggested that they go on vacation the next time they met. Although this plan was separated by a year, on July 15, 1992, they finally set off on their journey. On the way, Emma set 3 rules. First, they must sleep in separate rooms. Especially when drunk, they could not share the same bed. Second, they could not flirt with each other, nor could he flirt with other women. Third, they must wear clothes while swimming. Only in this way could they preserve the purity of their friendship, rather than rules set for Dexter. These were actually the things Emma most wanted to do. She had fallen in love with Dexter at first sight on the day of graduation, and that night they had almost crossed the line. But at the crucial moment, insecure Emma chose to retreat. Dexter's glow was too dazzling, and the fear of being with him far outweighed the excitement of turning her secret love into reality. And she also knew that Dexter was a playboy, so keeping distance was the only way to hold on to each other, which was how they mistakenly became so-called friends. Dexter understood this just as well. He had never lacked women, and once he obtained someone, he would eventually discard her. Emma was innocent, intelligent, and deeply passionate about life. Although at times Dexter could hardly suppress his desire to have her, he still did not want to lose this confidant because of it, and so they remained on the edge, desperately holding on to each other. Perhaps the atmosphere of the bar at night was too romantic, or perhaps it was simply a need to release long-suppressed emotions. Emma confessed the infatuation she had carried for years, and even admitted that she had written many love poems for Dexter, and that most of her story drafts were connected to him. In response, Dexter merely smiled faintly, then led Emma to the swimming pool, breaking the 3rd rule.
You know, I thought about you. I think about you.
Those words almost brought Emma to tears, but soon Dexter changed his tone.
The problem is I fancy pretty much everyone.
Perhaps he had grown accustomed to being just friends, Or perhaps he was truly afraid, because as long as you never fully possess something, you will never risk losing it. At the crucial moment, Dexter hesitated as well. Seeing the disappointment written all over Emma's face, Dexter seemed to make some kind of decision, but at that exact moment, a few thieves ran off with his clothes, all carefully chosen designer brands that he loved. The absurd scene made Emma secretly laugh. The rules they had just set during the day were all broken that very night. A year passed in the blink of an eye. In 1993, Dexter became the host of a late-night entertainment show. Fame and fortune in hand, he spent his days drifting through bars and wasting money. And on July 15th that year, he did not go to see Emma. He only made a phone call and rambled nonsense for a while, then plunged back into another stormy night. The indulgent nightlife was intoxicating. Dexter often had no time to sleep, and early the next morning he had to prepare for his show again, so exhausted that he had to lean against the wall just to climb a small step. And equally weakened was Dexter's mother. Because of the torment of illness, the dazzling golden hair she once took pride in was gone. Mother and son had not seen each other for a long time, and for a moment they did not know what to say. Dexter could only play a videotape of the show he hosted, but his exaggerated performance and strange high-pitched screams did not make his mother happy. She believed it was all too artificial, and that Dexter should pursue what he truly wanted to do. When Dexter woke from a deep sleep, it was already evening. The long-awaited visit had almost entirely been slept away by him. With no time for dinner, Dexter had to drag his sweat-soaked body back to record the show.
I worry that you're not very nice anymore.
His mother's words brought tears to both of them, and he himself did not know when he had become like this. As he left, his father confiscated Dexter's car keys. Deeply disappointed in his behavior that day, his mother could leave at any moment, yet Dexter looked like a man completely lost. Perhaps this was the worst day of Dexter's life. He stood alone in the cold wind, tears streaming down his face, calling Emma with a trembling voice. Emma had actually heard the phone ring as she was about to leave, and she knew it was most likely Dexter, but she did not answer, because she had a date that night. Life has to move forward, and Emma began trying to accept Ian, who had always been pursuing her.
You can have anything you like. Anything up to the value of, say, £14?
Ian was a stand-up comedian, but his jokes were not funny at all, and his career was unsuccessful. Compared to Dexter, he was neither handsome nor charming, and he often talked endlessly in a way that felt awkward. But at least Ian was sincere, and that gave Emma a sense of emotional security. So on that rainy night, she let Ian stay over, and on July 15, 1994, she still did not answer Dexter's loneliness and longing. In 1995, Emma had entered a new stage of her life. She became a middle school literature teacher, and with Ian she was like an old married couple. Although life was still modest, it was steady and reassuring, built step by step. In contrast, Dexter's life was far from optimistic. After his mother passed away, his father was left alone, and newspapers labeled Dexter the king of bad television. The hollow noise and inner loneliness had become unbearable for him. He desperately wanted to see Emma, but Emma always seemed to have no time. Yet whenever the late-night camera lights turned on, Dexter transformed once again into the quirky host. While Emma led her students to win a gold prize in a drama competition, they seemed to exist in different worlds, only able to cautiously glimpse each other through a screen. On July 15, 1996, after 3 years apart, they agreed to meet again. Emma noticed that Ian was a little jealous, and said she could choose not to go, but in the end Ian gave silent approval. Emma dressed up beautifully for the meeting, and Dexter was still handsome as ever, though his speech inevitably carried traces of his television persona. They both tried to present the best sides of their lives, while constantly mocking each other. Full of contradiction, they feared the other might be doing better, and resented that this success had nothing to do with themselves. In the end, it was Emma who broke down first, because a seemingly ordinary middle school teacher simply had nothing to compare with a host who frequently appeared in newspapers. Dexter could only chase after her, apologizing again and again. In those 3 years, they had both endured many hardships of life that left them exhausted.
Stuck in a flat with a man that I am not in love with. And if I can't talk to you, then what is the point of you?
Emma felt that she and Dexter had drifted further and further apart, while Dexter found Emma somewhat dull and boring. Perhaps this was the harsh reality. They were no longer the people they once were, but at the final moment before leaving, Emma returned and embraced Dexter tightly.
So much. I just don't like you anymore. I'm sorry.
After saying goodbye, Emma truly turned away, and that departure lasted a full 4 years. Dexter felt utterly lost, as if he had just lost the entire world. During those 4 years, Emma fell in love with swimming, accepted Ian's engagement ring, and insisted on writing regularly. Her manuscript income steadily increasing, making her the main financial support of the household. But soon after, she and Ian separated. Ian could not accept the imbalance of their relationship where she was stronger and more successful, nor could he accept that Dexter still lived in Emma's heart. He tried hard to ignore it, until he accidentally discovered the love poems Emma had written to Dexter in college, and they finally fell apart completely. Afterward, they sat down and calmly discussed everything, and reached one conclusion: fortunately, they had never married. Meanwhile, Dexter's life reached a low point. At 32 years old, he was fired by the television station, as that kind of entertainment show no longer suited him, and the company needed energetic 20-year-olds to take over to maintain his comfortable lifestyle. Dexter began using his remaining charm to pursue Sylvie, because he needed someone who loved him. Before meeting her parents, Dexter practiced saying "I love you" over and over again, because although he had liked many women, he had never spoken those words. And as a man marrying into the family, his position was naturally not high. His 2 brothers-in-law mocked him for once being the king of bad shows, and during family games they targeted him relentlessly. Sometimes it almost looked like a group attack. Dexter endured everything in silence, truly refusing to fight back or argue, until the year 2000. At the turn of the century, they met again at a classmate's wedding. Dexter could not help but look toward Emma. The old classmate Callum, whom he once looked down upon, now had a thriving business, even handing out business cards and offering job opportunities like charity. And in the distance stood Emma, radiant and confident. It seemed that everything was moving forward, and even Sylvie looked down on him a little. Dexter excused himself and quietly walked over to Emma. For years had passed, and aside from a more mature voice, he had nearly ruined everything else. Emma, though still single, was about to publish a new book. Dexter offered his most sincere congratulations, then handed Emma his wedding invitation. He was getting married next month, and Sylvie was already pregnant. After that, they stood facing each other in silence, tears falling for reasons neither could explain. They missed each other deeply, begging one another not to disappear again, their emotions colliding painfully with reality. A year later, Dexter had a daughter, and he accepted the entry-level position offered by Callum, working hard to do everything right, striving to become a qualified father. His daughter cried endlessly, and only by reading her stories could he calm her down. Later, Dexter discovered that the author of the book was actually Emma. However, perhaps it was fate's punishment for Dexter's years of recklessness. Sylvie had an affair. Ironically, the man was Callum. On July 15, 2003, humiliated and heartbroken, Dexter left with nothing and came alone to London to seek out Emma. By then, Emma already carried the air of a great writer, her short hair neat and sharp, her outstanding temperament untouched. But before Dexter could even speak, he learned that Emma had a new boyfriend, a jazz musician. At that moment, Dexter finally understood how Emma had once felt, watching the person she loved embrace someone else right in front of her. Dexter decided to leave, because he did not want to disturb anyone anymore, and Emma sensed that once Dexter walked away this time, they might never see each other again. The love buried deep in her heart could no longer be restrained, and she stopped Dexter by the saying. They kissed deeply, swearing never to be separated again. It had been 15 full years since their first embrace. Then came July 15, 2004, and they married in a whirlwind, no longer needing to meet only once a year. With the savings he had accumulated over the years, Dexter opened a cafe, shedding his former sharp edges, no longer as careless and ignorant as in his youth. And most importantly, he learned how to take responsibility, gaining the courage to love someone wholeheartedly. Although Emma matured a little late, Fortunately, she did not miss her chance. She was beautiful enough, confident enough, like an ugly duckling transformed into a swan. Nearly 40 years old, they finally matched each other. Sylvie would sometimes bring their daughter over to visit, and Emma also wanted a child with the man she loved. But because of her age, after more than a year of trying, she still could not conceive. But as long as they were together, they believed they had endless time. On that day, Emma finished her usual swim and checked out from work. She left Dexter a message, riding her bicycle through the streets of Paris, on her way to meet the man she loved. But then, an accident happened. In her final moments, Emma's mind was blank, and she only remembered that she had a date.
And I'm sorry for being so snappy this morning. Just wanted to say you're a fine thing, Dexter Mayhew. I love you very much. Okay, there you go. Lucky you.
Dexter hung up after listening to the message, not knowing it would be the last time he would ever hear Emma's voice. By 2007, Dexter still had not moved on. When he saw a woman in a bar who looked like Emma, he would impulsively approach her, only to be beaten badly by others. Day after day, the cycle repeated, until he collapsed in front of his daughter. Sylvie feared that if this continued, Dexter might lose his life, so she drove him away. On the road, his daughter gently moved Dexter's blood-covered hand aside, and that small gesture made Dexter feel that he was truly finished. When he woke up again, he found himself back in the home where everything had once begun. His father did not say much, only urged Dexter to pull himself together and live well, as if Emma were still by his side.
Don't you?
I don't know if I can.
Of course you can. What do you think I've been doing for the past 10 years?
In that moment, Dexter suddenly realized that his father had long been carrying the same kind of pain. In 2009, not yet 50 years old, Dexter's hair had already turned gray, but his cafe gained modest fame for its excellent taste, and even Ian came specially to try it. He admitted that he had once been deeply jealous of Dexter, even resentful, for having once received all of Emma's love. But now he had his own family, and the past had faded like smoke. Watching Ian outside the window, Dexter suddenly felt dazed, his thoughts drifting back to that morning long ago. If they had not made that foolish promise, if Emma had been a little more confident back then, if Dexter had already possessed the courage to take responsibility, perhaps everything would not have been so difficult. They ran joyfully across the grass. As past and future brushed against each other, Dexter often brought his daughter there now, and they had become each other's best friends, telling the story of a woman named Emma, perhaps in another parallel world. Emma and Dexter are still running hand in hand. On the night of their graduation, they were passionate, brave, and sincere, doing what they most wanted to do at the most beautiful age, with no one able to separate them. For Emma to be with Dexter belongs to the movies, to stories. The farewell is what truly belongs to real life, because they had already missed each other 15 years earlier, and some things are only understood after they are experienced. And when you finally understand, she is already far away. So may you never let go of the hands you are holding tightly,